Hatep Jasasyasar, Enuki Mersotet Sashat-Sentat-Atum-Rayay, Enuki Mersotet Nun Nator Ama Nabab Ray Achach Pata Jeti Hu Kawan Harar, Nuk Safa Hasua Garu Nakash Nun Nator Ama Nabab Ray Ach Pata Jeti. I hope this is clear to many people have been turned away or held back, blocked to date, and you all don't have much time. Let me make this clear right here. The first lift was 9/9/2009 AD, and you all missed that one. They arrived in 2003 AD to prepare for the transformation and teleportation of those who Ranat I had entered on the page. They had moved me back to New York while I was in the sky. They blacked out New York in order to take me aboard the craft, which is Strong's Concordance number 3519, Kabad, to do a service in a holy place. It shined brightly. Then on into a much bigger craft. In fact, the planet-like craft are 72,000 miles in circumference. They stay outside this solar system. They arrived long ago, but constructed between 1923 to 1933 AD. 50 smaller crafts, half mile by half mile each, and inside of each is 1,500 smaller crafts, 30 feet by 15 feet, cylindrical, which hide in the clouds. Zechariah chapter 5 verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Zechariah chapter 5 verse 2. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So they did come in 2003 AD, for you all to be lifted out of here. Once I was aboard the craft, I met with Pa Razak'u, my own Sabak race, and my father asked me, did they learn the tones, how to sing? By that he meant to speak Nuapui. I had to say Nu'ut. They like to teach and impress each other more than to sing and chant. He asked, what about Pa Namasat? I said, no, they don't come together for prayer, you taught them. This went on for hours as New York was blacked out. My father looked at me and said, I will give them a warning in the form of what they understand. Then maybe they will overstand. So I was put in a trance state and programmed with Pa Tadak. He said, I will impart on you between 2003 and 2009 AD, the supreme reasoning, the highest teachings ever given to Pa Nakar Sabak since Hammam Tasu, Egyptians. We will return in 2009 AD for the first lift. I should have been freed when they programmed Habiba to tell the truth. But Hammam 9 Mudwa'u, Black Devils, stepped in. They were close to me, did their job, and departed out of sight. Left me to die and remove any chance of the transportation. When they returned in 2009 AD, my father was very upset with me. They're not ready yet? All I could say was no. Saati, Krill, and Alomar also came. Rama came with Rama Chandra and his consort Sita, also called Pathiu from Laxmi, and some others. Most spoke well of you, all, except Yanun. You know he does not like humans or humanoids, and the Leverons or Anteras or Leviathanites, mostly. Well, you all now have Pa Tadak, the hereafter doctrine, that all who preceded me spoke about. Even others in other religions spoke of this book. It is here, but not getting out on time. Why? inner fighting by inner voices of ego. Many people did not understand about what is taught in actual facts. You see, many people, mostly females, have had so many sexual partners and took in their spirits, and many did not know that men were evil, dawao, in their DNA, in their seed. These women slept or drank of them, took in their life source. Some men died and are linked to the women who hold their living seed now in her being. Out of anger, he or they can mess up their life, push away all who get close to her, prohibit her from being able to keep a good man, send her to the streets to do drugs, alcoholic drinking, and or sleeping around for his physical pleasure through use of her body. The specter or specters can also affect her mood changes. This results in her being alone and without even knowing why. She can see them working inside of her. Many get evil specters while in religious rituals of Santeria, Yoruba, and dealing with spiritual services in Christian churches, asking for the Holy Spirit, and or in Muslim salat. They really don't know these rituals yet say, "Oh God, come into me," or "Oh Allah, accepts me." But do they really know who this Allah, the deity named Ahmed bin Abdullah's father's God, Abd Allah, or slave of Allah, was his father's name? So the Prophet Muhammad only gave his followers his father's God, Allah. But who is this Arabian Hebrew God or Gad? Well, love, when you read the Torah of the Hebrews in the chapter of Leviticus, chapter 17, verse 7, you will see who the seed of Ibrahim, really worshipped. The Hebrew number Strong's Concordance is number 8163. They put the devil, but what is in the Hebrew script? You must remember, originally there were neither dots nor vowel marks in that language. Sayar, satires, Rayash, Shayar, Pan, or Baphomet. So this is the same word found in the Muslims' Quran related to Allah as the same being. In fact, it is. But Muslims will ignore it or don't even see it. Just open your Quran up to Surat or Surah 53, verse 49. Quran, Surat, chapter 53, verse 49. And surely He, Allah, is master, the satire. So yes, it is the same word as the Hebrew in Leviticus chapter 17, verse 7. Do they see this? No. Instead, they are blinded by faith and ignore the facts. So they open themselves up to worship of this being. More than one, if you note Leviticus chapter 17, verse 7, use the word devils, who is also called in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 17. You will see devils as Strong Concordance, number 770. Shad, shed, demon, devil. Shad, double power. Shed, might. Ash-Shahid, in Arabic, he is. El, in the Hebrew Strongs, it was El Shaddai. And finally, this is Yahweh, Jehovah, Strong's number 3068, who is Jah. So they have always been worshiping demons or devils as their God or Allah, but they don't see it. Who is behind all the wars and killings world over? The people of Abraham's religion. And many of our Sabak race is worshiping Ba Anunnaki, who are of two natures, Inkyites, agreeable, and Enlilites, disagreeable. But none are our ancestors. Enki and his son Marduk mixed seed in Afaf-Rayay, Africa, took women to breed with. This is how Nimrod got over in Babylon. but Ba Anunnaki are not our saviors. They work over the Kamahu, Pleiadians, who are the overlords, Rabbi, over the Kakasu, Caucasoid of Kaninu, Canaanites, who mixed with them as their gods. The sons of Enlil, Nin-Ur-Ta, and Nanar, Zuin, Zion, Balim. So much to know, so little time to know it, because the wars are back on between their gods. Conflict between the gods, not ours, but theirs. Yet the last lift is soon. I cannot give you the date and place as long as Pa Mudwa'u read my letters. Yet I'm beginning to think you all will miss the last chance and become food for their overlords, Taninu, Dragonians, reptilians who eat all Sabaku races. Do they know this? Not most. Most so-called white people don't have a clue of what's going on around them. The last to know was the Cohen, priest of Europe, who set up Zionism and created the new religions for Negroids, Jehovah Witnesses, and Moorish to NOI, Nation of Islam. A new deal was made between Masons and shrines in Arabia and Europe. These were created to teach Africans in America to not want to separate from Euro-Americans. They need to keep you near or they will be removed off the planet in one day. They need your blood's hemoglobin or they will bleed out and die. So any black teachers who teach you return to Africa and separate from them like Marcus Garvey and Kwame Nkrumah, they have a problem. But as for the Moors and NOI, they teach stay here in America. So they let them teach all and whatever they want and will not stop Moors or Nation of Islam. Well, I said a great deal on this letter. Well, we have such a hard time these final days because so many of our own race don't realize they have been mixed with evil, so they don't want anyone to lead them. It is an old fight that was between Enki and Enlil, also Har and Satach, down to Canaan and Abel, Cain and Abel, on to whomever you see it in human nature. Who put it there? Their Lord God Yahweh, Elohim, in Anunnaki. Right in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, their God created hate, enmity between people. Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and hers. He shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel. So who created hate and racism? The God of the Bible and Quran created rape, war, and murder. The same deities who are they or him, extraterrestrials, who came down here to earth, raped. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. Killed, wars, steal, and lie. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children unto them, they became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continuously. You name an evil, you will find it in their religions of Adamites. Yet you will not hear their God help others, only ones who made a deal with them to offer them flesh and blood offerings to eat. Leviticus chapter 27, verses 28 through 29. They eat humans. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 30. Eat children. Numbers chapter 21, verses 27 through 35. Numbers chapter 31, verses 17 through 18. Why do they do this for? Deuteronomy chapter 13, verses 13 through 18. Did this God Lord eat flesh? Genesis chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. Yes, he did. So he ate the offerings. Yes, Leviticus chapter 3, verse 11. It is food. This is real. Leviticus chapter 3, verse 11. And the priest shall burn it on the altar as a food offering to the Lord. Now tell them who told you this first. Did I get this from others? Have you ever seen this or heard this before? No. This is a warning to all. Abraham was not an African, nor was Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, or W.F. Muhammad. And all of them worshipped the Anunnaki. Most after Abraham did not know who they were. Once Moses found out who he was warned not to tell the Israelites what their gods looked like. Half man, half goat. Leviticus chapter 17, verse 77. They must no longer offer any of their sacrifice to the goat idols, to whom they prostitute themselves. This is to be a lasting ordinance for them and for the generations to come. Half man, half reptile, Dogon. 1 Samuel chapter 5, verses 2 through 7. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping. With love in action, Pops. Tawakum Yisar. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 2. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So they did come in 2003 AD, for you all to be lifted out of here. Once I was aboard the craft, I met with Pa Razak'u, my own Sabak race. And my father asked me, did they learn the tones, how to sing? By that it shined brightly. Then on into a much bigger craft. In fact, the planet-like craft are 72,000 miles in circumference. They stay outside this solar system. They arrived long ago, but constructed between 1923 to 1933 AD. 50 smaller crafts, half mile by half mile each, and inside of each is 1,500 smaller crafts, 30 feet by 15 feet, cylindrical, which hide in the clouds. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Hatep Jasas Yasar, Enuki Mersotet Sashat-Sentat-Atum-Rayay, Enuki Mersotet Nun Nator Ama Nabab Ray Achach Pata Jeti Hu Kawan Harar, Nuk Safa Hasur Garu Nakash Nun Nator Ama Nabab Ray Ach Pata Jeti. I hope this is clear to many people have been turned away or held back. Blocked to date. That he meant to speak Nuapui. I had to say Nu'ut. They like to teach and impress each other more than to sing and chant. He asked, what about Pa Namasat? I said, no, they don't come together for prayer, you taught them. This went on for hours as New York was blacked out. My father looked at me and said, I will give them a warning in the form of what they understand. Then maybe they will overstand. So I was put in a trance state and programmed with Patarak. He said, I will impart on you between 2000 and you all don't have much time. Let me make this clear right here. The first lift was 9/9/2009 AD, and you all missed that one. They arrived in 2003 AD to prepare for the transformation and teleportation of those who Ranat I had entered on the page. They had moved me back to New York while I was in the sky. They blacked out New York in order to take me aboard the craft, which is Strong's Concordance number 3519, Kabad, to do a service in a holy place.